Hello, beautiful hearts. Welcome to the new series on living your best life. I am so excited to get this started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mindy, and for the last 4.5 years, I've been traveling the country, documenting and just sharing the beauty that I see in the world. And I received a lot of feedback from people over the years saying that my videos were very calming and peaceful and relaxing and just chill. And the reason for that is because of how I see the world, how I see myself. And I really want to talk about magic. And, that you are magic, and there is magic in the world if you are open to it. And that's probably the biggest, incredible, most amazing thing that you can discover, is that you are magic, that you are powerful, that you are just incredible and amazing just as you are without doing anything. You are born into this world perfect and amazing. And it's only through life and things that happen to us and lessons and everything that we need to grow to get you to realize what you already knew when you were born. And so that's what I want to talk about. That's what I'm going to talk about today is magic, and the reasons if you don't view yourself as magic, or you don't think you're worthy, or you don't think you're powerful and amazing, what keeps you from seeing that in yourself. I think the biggest thing holding people back is fear. Fear just shrouds everything. When you're living from a place of survival and fear and lack, you're just cut off from your source of magic, from creativity. Like, you cannot create from a space of fear. It's just not going to be there. So the first thing you need to do is shift your mindset from fear to trust. And I say mindset, but really you're controlling your mind and thoughts, because you are not your mind and you are not your thoughts. You are under all of that, and you have to discover that inside of you is the magic, and you will no longer live from that space of fear, and you will just trust the universe. I know, Mindy, oh, you make it sound so easy. Yeah, it's not. It can be, because it is all dependent on you and your own mind. So if you can control your thoughts, change your life. That's a good book by Wayne Dyer. Control your thoughts, change your life. But yeah, it can be easy because you can totally wake up and realize that you are an amazing, phenomenal, incredible, magical being, and not even contemplate the ego part that tries to tell you that you're not good enough, or this and that and the other millions of things that the mind can tell you to do. But when you realize what you are underneath that, that's when you get your power and you come alive, because you are more than your mind. Mojo, I don't know if any of you know of Mojo, but he tells a story one time about there's this chocolate cake on the counter, and your mind is like, oh no, I can't take a piece. Like, it's for a special occasion, and it's being saved for the next day, and don't touch it because it's not for you, right? And your mind is like, oh, just take a little bit of the frosting, it'll be okay. Nobody will notice. And so you do, and then And you're like, oh, you can have a little more. No one's going to notice. And then all of a sudden there's a noticeable piece of the cake gone. And your mind's like, oh, shouldn't have done that. I always love that story. The same mind that's telling you one thing then tells you another thing. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Your mind, your thoughts is not who you really are. It's underneath that. And you have to discover that to get past the fear. And it's not easy. I would say 2007, a long time ago. That's coming up on almost 20 years. Is that possible? Yeah. 2007, I was in a really bad place. Most of you wouldn't even recognize me. And those of you who have known me that long know how different I am from that space because of everything that I've gone through in my life to get me to where I am now, in a place to help others get to this place. That's what my calling, that's what I feel called to do. That's why I'm doing these videos and sharing, because we are all magic. We all deserve to live from this space of abundance and happiness and joy. It's your birthright. You do not have to suffer. Okay, 2009, I was very depressed. Like I was almost completely checked out from life. And my sister, Carrie, was so worried about me that she took me to a Reiki class, a Reiki 1 class. Reiki is an energy healing. For those of you who do not know what Reiki is, you can Google it. And yeah, like she was so scared for me, probably that I would take my own life, that she brought me to this class. And I cried through like almost the whole class. I was just so sad. And that was like, I'm trying to remember, like October. It was the fall, I think, of 2007. And I don't even remember that much from the rest of that year to 2008. But in 2009, I had gone for my annual PAP women's checkup, and the doctor called and they said that my results were abnormal. So I had to come in for a loop biopsy, which they just do in-house. So I did that. Then that came back abnormal. And then, so they're thinking, oh, usually like that happens, you might have cervical cancer. And so like it was like something in me just clicked, and I started doing Reiki on myself. And they scheduled me to come in for a cone biopsy, which you have to be put under for. So you have to go to the hospital for that. And it was scheduled for like 2 weeks out. And I started doing Reiki on myself every day. And my sister started doing Reiki on me. And then the day of the procedure, a friend of ours just happened to be the one to get my surgical instruments all arranged. And so she did Reiki on my surgical instruments. I had the procedure done, and I think the results came back like a week or two later. And I had to go in for them. So I went into the doctor's office, and I was feeling great. I was 100% sure I was fine. There was not a doubt in my mind that I was completely okay. And so I sit down, and the doctor sits down, and he looks at the thing, and he starts shaking his head, right? And I'm trying not to smile. And he starts shaking his head, and he's like, I don't understand. And I couldn't help it. I kind of laughed. And he looked at me, and he just looked like so confounded, like shocked and surprised. He's like, there's nothing here. You're completely healthy. And it was just all I could do, right? Just not to just bust out in hysterics laughing. And that was my biggest shift moment, I would say, was when that happened. And then I just knew that you know, you had the power to heal yourself. But I still had a long way to go. That was 2009. And, you know, I still had a lot of healing and, you know, karmic lessons and trauma to heal and like all the things. But that was probably my biggest shift moment. And knowing that we are more than what is on the outside and, you know, what you can see and, you know, in the 3D, you know, life is more than what you can just see and hear. And yeah, that was a pretty incredible moment when I think about it. I hadn't thought about it in a while. But that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to share my experiences, share my knowledge. I'm being called to do this. And there's going to be a lot more videos. This is just a taste. If you want to work with me one-on-one, information is in the description. But I love you guys so much, and I hope you have an amazing, incredible day.